In today's video, we talk about Jaime's journey to restore her metabolism.
Sounds good.
What's going on, guys? This is Paul Revelia from ProPhysique.com, and I have a special guest with me today, none other than my good friend Jaime Calais.
Hi.
Jaime is a client of mine, but more importantly, I mean, she's taken on the role of a friend. She helps out with my bodybuilding show. She comes to all my events, and she's just a wonderful ambassador for all the things we're going to talk about today. She's also local, about 45 minutes away, so we get to spend some time together. I asked her earlier this week if she would come over and do a video on the topic of reverse dieting, the psychology, the physiology, all the stuff that goes into it. And for a very, very specific reason, because Jaime's been working with me for 2 years and a few months now, and she's completely transformed. And so we're gonna go through that history a little bit, right? And just discuss where you were when we started, and where you are now, and where you're going, because it's a very important message. And I know it can be difficult to hear from someone that at a time when you want to lose weight, you need to eat more.
Yes, that's very difficult.
So let's start. Let Jaime explain how she found out about me and how she got to a place where she was in need of a different approach. So let's go back to 2013-14 and talk about your entry into like a competition and how you got here.
Okay, so I used to train with a big name team, and it was a very restrictive diet, like very restrictive, like fish, and I hate fish, so I was miserable, and I wasn't allowed to use salt, so I say that I salted my food with my tears. Yep. And then I was on tons of cardio, tons of training, and it just really mentally got to me. I did a show, I placed absolute last in it, and after that, just the disappointment from everything and just being on such a restrictive diet for so long, I started just binging, like everything that I could get into my mouth, all this food, donuts. I think the day after my show, I went to Dunkin' Donuts, and I think I had a dozen donuts myself, with the intentions of a show in 2 weeks. So yeah, I kind of went off track really bad.
Let me ask you this question. Do you remember what you started your contest weight at, and what did you kind of end it at?
I started about 145 pounds, and I was on the stage at 140. Okay. So within those months of training that hard, I only lost 5 pounds from the scale, but I did have a good transformation in that aspect that I lost 5 pounds, but I guess I lost a lot of body fat, and I gained a little bit of muscle. I got my waist down to 22 inches, so I was really small, but I wasn't muscular at all. I was just skinny.
What was your dieting history previous to trying to compete? Had you been a serial dieter your whole life? Or
yes, I grew up overweight. I'm that typical story. You grow up overweight, you want to be skinny. I have had disordered eating in the past. I've been through bulimia, I've been through anorexia, but I've always went back to that whole binging, and I hide food around, so I always have food. So I was a food hoarder too.
Where's the food?
Yeah, I know I don't have. I am getting better.
All right, so you reached a point where you were supposed to do a show in 2 weeks. I'm taking it that show didn't happen.
That show did not happen. Instead, I just kept eating. I was eating away my feelings. And I went to one of my person-to-person camps with this team, and I was pulled aside and told to stay out of the kitchen. And that's when I just absolutely lost it. The emotion, the sadness, the pain just came, and I just kept getting deeper and deeper within this binge. It got to the point that I was binging so hard that I was hoarding food at work. I had a paper box filled with Pop-Tarts, like boxes and boxes of Pop-Tarts. I had to actually walk up to a coworker, give her this box, and just ask her to dispose of it. I was very ashamed, very embarrassed. I also used to close myself in my pantry at home and sneak food, and just the whole mental aspect of it. It hurt so bad that I didn't even know how to get back to normal, a normalish type of eating. So I was getting to the point that the binging was getting so bad. I was over 50 pounds heavier from my stage weight, and I started taking laxatives. So I turned to laxatives, and I was going through the bulimia aspects of the overeating. So I was doing the binge purge, and it got really scary. And that's when I started speaking with Aria, who was working with Lane at the time, and she actually turned me on to Paul and introduced me via Facebook to him. And I was actually at the height of this binge and the height of my weight. I was so desperate to get back to where I was, skinny wise. I wanted to be skinny again. I wanted to lean out. I wanted to be back to the 140, 190. I was very scared of, because tipping up to that 200, I'm afraid that would have emotionally and mentally just put me into a completely different spectrum. I'm a very happy person. I smile all the time, but at that point, when I spoke with Aria, and at that point I was so sad, I was so broken, I was crying all the time, I was like balling up and crying, I didn't smile, I hated the gym, I hated nutrition. It got really bad for me, but then I emailed Paul, and I think we were on the phone the next morning talking, and he spent a good hour on the phone with me just trying to talk me through how he trains and just how we were going to try to work through
I remember, one thing I'll say about Jaime, her emails are very descriptive. She expresses herself very well, so I think I probably sensed in that first email and that first interaction, like, we need to talk about it, because 2.5 years ago, the idea of reverse dieting was still something I had to get people to buy into, and so I'm glad you did, and now you're a great example for me. And on our team page, people can actually go there and ask questions and see your transformation and some of the other girls that have gone through the process. So it was awesome to have you trust me at that point, because I'm sure another coach, after you'd had that bad experience was difficult. And Aria Adami, for those that don't know, is now a top bikini pro in the IFBB, and she's now flexible dieting and maintaining a really fantastic physique year round.
Shows that it works.
So she is another person that sets that great example. So when you came to me, we're going to show a picture right now. I'm going to put it on the screen. This probably isn't your favorite picture.
No.
So this is the picture that she sent me at her first questionnaire that we filled out, and she was 185 pounds and taking in not a lot of calories, but she had just dieted down from 190. She just told me today. So she was actually closer to 190.
Starved myself for about 2 weeks before I actually contacted you.
Yeah. So she starved herself to drop down to 185, and then something pretty cool happened. And I never make this promise, because a lot of people come to me and they say, this is my goal. I want to lose fat and build muscle. I want to eat more and weigh less. And while that's a great goal, you can't always expect it. I never set that expectation. But I think because your body was in such a state of, under eating and consistently missing training and binging and all these things, when we started reversing her calories and her being consistent with her training and diet, she actually lost weight during the reverse.
Yeah, we reversed about 8.5 months, and I dropped 20 pounds.
Yeah, so after reversing, and I mean, the 20 pounds was drastic, and so here's the before and after picture of that 20 pounds. Remember, she added calories and reduced cardio this whole time, so this is what that looked like. And then now we got her to a place where, okay, now we could actually spend some time in a fat loss phase.
Fat loss phase number one.
With the goal of losing fat. Now, that's something that's very difficult for me to do, is to explain to somebody, okay, if you want to get leaner, we're going to have to reverse diet you for a few months or even 6 months or a year, depending on your history. But with you, we were in such a great place because we had lost some weight that when we started a fat loss phase, it just exasperated that even more. And just look at her now, it's amazing. Every time I see her, she looks different. And I see her every couple months. So she's just continued to improve over this entire 2.5 year journey. And so we had a little bit of a fat loss phase.
Yes.
And we had some success.
Yes, we did.
We had some victories.
Yes, we did. We got down to about 157-ish. Our goal was 155.
Yeah.
But we got to 157 and I became hangry.
Yeah.
I was very hungry and I contacted Paul through our check-ins and I was like, I don't know what to do. I just want to eat again. So like these disordered thinkings were coming back and I was going to sneak food, but I don't want to sneak food. I don't want to get back to that spot. So we spoke and...
Well, I mean, that's one of the things I look for, you know, like, it's great that you want to be 150 or 140 or whatever, but if it doesn't fit with what your body is telling you to do, so we started reversing again and got back into now focusing on performance, focusing on strength, getting into a place where the number on the scale doesn't dictate your happiness.
Exactly.
All right, so as that fat loss phase ended and we got back into reverse dieting, I think the most exciting thing for me was that we were now approaching it from, you were in a better place body composition wise.
Yes.
You were happy again.
I was happy. I love going to the gym.
Yeah.
The thing with macros that I love, and this is the passion I developed, I love numbers. I love trying to figure out numbers. So I have spreadsheets beyond spreadsheets, and just to be able to put these put the macros into my spreadsheet, and then I have that one little meal that's like the Jenga meal. I look forward to that. You know, those are the random meals that's like a pickle, Lucky Charms.
For those that aren't familiar with the Jenga meal or the jigsaw puzzle meal, basically you hit your macros all day, you hit your foods, and then you kind of just look at what you've eaten because you're kind of familiar. So I used to do this a lot too. So the last meal of the day will just be some random numbers that you kind of go in and you can plug in different foods, like you know, like a half a serving of Lucky Charms and then a Quest bar. Yeah. So you just get these random things. So that can be kind of fun because, you know, it's variation in your day, something to look forward to.
Yeah, and it just for me personally, it just added like that touch of enjoyment. I enjoyed trying to get that meal, and I enjoyed my workouts. So I was really at a really good place. So.
Yeah, so the second reverse phase, I think it went exceptionally well as well. I think we stayed like in the low 160s.
Yeah,
and then you put on a little bit of weight.
I did.
But you also started performing.
I was performing. Yeah, I was shoulder pressing like no other. It was amazing because I've been trying to build these mothers for what, 2.5 years now.
Yeah.
So I was getting happy that the weights were starting to go up in that second reverse. So when it came to the weight gain, the slight weight gain that I did have, I wasn't panicking over it because of the fact that I saw that performance go up in the gym.
Performance go up and calories increase. You know, one thing to consider when you put on a little bit of body fat, but you can eat a lot more, we know that body fat can come off.
Yeah, we almost tripled my carbs.
Yeah, what was the highest we got your carbs?
I think like 330 or 340.
Okay, so
and fats were up to 75.
And that's maintaining her weight. Whereas when she came to me at 190 pounds basically, you were under 100 grams of carbs.
Oh yeah.
Other than the binging. But,
basically starving.
Yeah.
Again.
So for those that aren't familiar with the volume of food that 300 grams of carbs is, or 330 grams of carbs, that's a lot of food. Like, even myself as a man, like when I have to eat 400 or 500 grams of carbs in a day, I have to like think about how I'm going to get those in. So that's psychologically very powerful because you're constantly feeling like you ate a meal.
Right, you feel fed and you feel happy. Like food makes people happy. There's no doubt about that. Things are based around food, so when you are able to partake and not feel guilty about it, it just feels free.
Yeah.
It's freeing.
Yeah.
Trying to get the words out.
So let's talk now. So we've gone through this is our second fat loss phase, 2 reverse phases. Something interesting happened a couple weeks ago. We put you on a diet break.
Yes.
Because we were in a fat loss phase, we'd kind of stalled, and so I just wanted to put you on a refeed for a week.
Yeah.
And did the scale go down?
Yeah, it was a Christmas gift. I was right the week of Christmas, and I was hungry again. I emailed him, I'm sad, I'm hungry, these macros are so low, I'm tired. So I was starting to affect, my performance in the gym was starting to get affected a little bit just because, it's fat loss and that happens. Yeah. We put me on an initial 1 week diet break. Took everything up, like, I was over, I think maybe over 200 grams of carbs or maybe 195.
And cut cardio way down.
10 minutes? Yes, thank you.
And just put the focus back on the gym, hitting some, reasonable numbers. And so my good friend Josh Vogel is now training with her twice a week. So he's doing
Twice a
her
month.
twice a month. Okay.
Twice a month.
Twice a month doing her strength programming. And
Yes.
Josh is a good friend of mine, and I could not be more excited about the progress you've made with Josh. So shout out to Vogelitis.
Vogelitis.
And the good work he's doing with Jaime, because now she's hitting PRs in the gym. She's leaner than she's been.
Yeah, like my waist itself is we're actually at an all-time low with my waist measurement and my weight as of this morning.
Yeah. So the all-time low in the waist is really exciting because that's pure body fat.
Yes.
So for those that track measurements, my favorite is to track, like thigh and waist, areas that typically when they get reduced, it's just pure body fat because you can lose body fat and the scale can kind of be stable.
Yes, the scale also is a very big roller coaster ride for me, so I will fluctuate intensely. So just if I have water, I might fluctuate.
Yeah.
I've never really wanted to rely on the scale, so when we added the waist measurements in from day one that I started training with Paul, we started, I think I was over 32, maybe 32 and a half inch waist, and I measured myself this morning because I wanted to be factual on video, and I actually measured in at 25.75.
What?
Yes.
Holy cow. Well, I think, the first reverse diet that we did, the visible change to me was your hips and waist, because you have a very tiny waist.
Yes.
And it just all kind of came in. That was so drastic. It's, sometimes, update pictures and transformations, they're not that drastic. And so about a week ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago, I asked you for a testimonial, because honestly, I'm terrible about asking people for testimonials. I think mine on my site are just so old. But so I went around, and she actually hesitated, like, oh, coach, can we wait? Can we wait?
My physique's not ready. I'm not ready to show.
I actually had to have her take a picture in the gym and compare it to a picture from before.
Yes.
And I think that even opened your eyes a little bit.
It did. I didn't realize the changes that I have made because I see myself every day. So I know I'm making changes and I'm very proud of my progress, don't get me wrong, but there's other people that are like, it's the comparison thing. Don't compare yourself to people. Don't do it.
That's actually really good advice.
Yeah, but I was doing it because you fall into those, you fall into that mindset. And we have amazing people on our team, and I just didn't want to do Paul's coaching injustice by putting a picture of me when I started, which obviously you guys saw and is very different of what I look like now.
I'll post that up here so you guys can see it.
The picture that, to me currently, I'm not at my ideal physique. I still have a lot of work to do. Right. So I just didn't want to do that injustice. But the thing is with Paul, the transformation that I have had is the emotional transformation and the mental transformation. It has been huge. So it's just hard to show that in a picture. So that's why I hesitated. But it's an honor. Like, I absolutely love being on Team Pro Physique, and I love being coached by Paul. Like, it's been, yay.
Feels.
All the feels.
Well, we won't get this video too long.
Yeah.
I'm really happy with where we're at right now, as far as the information we've put out. If you guys want more information from Jaime, comment below. Let me know if you're interested. If you'd like to hear more about the story, more specifics. I don't know that we went too in depth, but I just wanted to get information out there about what the benefits are of focusing more on improving, not just always focusing on the scale.
Yes.
And just to see, like, imagine this person being sad. That would be the worst thing ever. She's generally like the happiest, biggest smile person I've ever been around. And I can't imagine her 3 years ago, before I knew her, just being sad all the time. I'm sure Aria can chime in below because she tends to comment on my videos and just like what that was like. But, and I'm sure your husband, your family are just happy that you're...
I'm a complete different person, and I am very grateful for that. I don't regret my journey because my journey took me to who I am today. It helped me grow into who I am. It helped me appreciate things and not take like the gym or food or anything for granted. So I am proud. It's been a long journey. It's been a roller coaster ride. We've had a couple missteps or whatever because of some personal things that happened in my life.
Life has happened.
Life has happened. But as long as you just...
How you vision something is not how it's going to happen.
Exactly, no. You can write on paper.
Success isn't like this. Success is that squirrely line that you see that, but it's trending in the right direction.
Exactly.
And that's you.
But as long as you just trust yourself and trust your heart and trust the process, and if you're working with Paul or another coach, they have your best interest in heart. Coaches are there for you. You have to be honest with them no matter what happens. You just have to be honest with them with your feelings. If you deviated from your macros or your plan or your cardio, you know, let them know. They're not gonna, well, especially Paul, he's not gonna be like, "Rawr."
I don't judge.
No.
Honestly, those kind of updates, if someone tells me they went off plan or this, that's information that I then look at and go, what's going on here? What should we do?
Exactly.
That's valuable information. Don't judge.
No.
You think I'm not perfect on my diet every day?
No.
You know, I've binged eaten after bodybuilding shows and those kind of things. So the value is that, you know, with feedback like Jaime's and experience like that, and then the personal experience that I've had, I'm very sympathetic and understanding. The only thing I can't help is if I don't get the information until afterwards.
Be honest.
Yeah.
But trust yourself and just love yourself enough to go through the journey, because the journey, with its ups and downs, it has highs and lows, and you'll cry and you'll laugh and you'll celebrate, but every minute that you do it is absolutely worth it.
And yeah, if it's, I mean, we're talking about, so this has been 2 years and you're going to live to be 100. So, you know, 2% of her life was spent like kind of during this process, and now look where she's got to. That's the exciting thing for me, is that we're in a place now where like anything's possible.
Yes.
Like we even mentioned the words competing today. Like,
Actually, yeah, those words came out of our mouth.
No date or deadline or anything like that, but just the idea that she's in such a good place that we could potentially see that happening in the future, just like it did for Aria.
Yeah.
And so, who knows what the future holds? But that, like, look at that smile. That's why, because that's where we've gotten to, because she's been willing to put in the work for 2 years. Sometimes the work isn't eating less and doing more cardio. You know, I think people associate like, oh, I'll do anything to get lean.
Right.
Well, what if I told you to get lean, you have to put on 10 pounds and eat over your calories for the next year?
Exactly.
Like, that's work.
Mentally
Emotional
difficult.
work, mentally work,
Yes.
physical, all that stuff.
Just push through. It's worth it, I promise. It's worth it.
We'll end the video there, guys. Thank you for following along. And if you have questions or comments below, I'm going to make Jaime answer and discuss. You know, I love getting in the comment section and talking about this. And if you want more videos discussing this journey with Jaime, let me know. I'll get her back over here, or I'll go over and see her. She has a boat that I have not been on yet. So me and my wife want to get on the boat, and that's a good excuse. So you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon.
Bye. Thank you.